Go slow. Go slow. There's no rush. I know you might think there's a rush. There's no rush. There's almost never a rush in this market. So take your time, figure out what's actually going on, right? And actually try to assess your risk.
Today, we are joined by one of the greatest voices for crypto.
He's an entrepreneur, he's a YouTuber, crypto educator, Bitcoin investor. It is Lark Davis.
It doesn't necessarily get easier. It's still this constant sort of titanic battle with yourself all the time.
That's what it is at the end of the day. It's a battle of managing your emotions when things are going crazy.
Amassing over 1.1 million followers, Lark uses his platform to educate others on all things crypto.
Crypto is not going anywhere. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. Ethereum's not going anywhere. A lot of your altcoins are going to go to zero. Keep that in mind.
The question that everybody wants to know, where is Bitcoin going on the end of this cycle?
I have maintained that we have the potential to run up to as high as
Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to offer you access to my exclusive Wolfpack Discord group that's now based on WAP. Basically, what you're going to get in here is something I call the Quantum Cipher Report. This allows you to steal and copy all of my trades and learn my exact trading system. Every Monday, I'm going to give you the best crypto altcoin picks that are getting ready for explosive moves. I'm also going to give you the best trade setups in Forex, futures, and CFDs as well. You have to be a multi-asset trader if you truly want to take advantage of the entire trading environment as a whole. Not only that, you're going to get access to the Discord, all of my courses, over 30 hours of recorded educational content, in addition to my TradingView degenerate indicators. Okay, so if you want access to my WAP, there's going to be a link below. Join the Wolfpack and get all of the best trading picks in crypto, Forex, and futures sent to you every Monday. On top of that, 30 hours of educational content so you can learn my entire system, all for one low monthly price. I'll see you there. All right, Mr. Crypto Lark Davis, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
nice to have a chance to chat. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. So 580,000 subs on YouTube, 1.2 million on Twitter. What exactly are you saying and talking about that are grabbing so many people's attention?
Look, I've been making content in the crypto space since 2017 pretty consistently, and just trying to share news, education, opinion, obviously, putting out loads of content. We make a lot of content every week, a lot of shorts, a lot of just whatever's going on in the news and stuff like that. So basically just consistently grinding nonstop for, what are we up to, 7 years now, something like that, almost 8. I mean, it's been a wild ride so far.
Yeah. So you're just feeding that algorithm what it wants to see.
That's right. That's right. And it's a tough industry to work in too, because crypto's so deeply cyclical. You know, you see people working in the entertainment niche. You could just kind of keep grinding up slowly. But in crypto, it's kind of, you get all the attention for 6 months or a year in the market, and then suddenly nobody wants to talk about crypto anymore. All the prices go down, and it's sort of like walking through the desert for 2 years. But that 1 year can kind of make up for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've experienced the same thing. Like my subscriber base blew up quite a bit during the first bull run that I was involved in crypto in 2020 or 2021. And then all of a sudden, all those people were probably all mostly degenerates that eventually lost all their money, and now they want nothing to do with it. So I think it's a very weird space, because there's like the crypto community is, I think, as far as investments go, definitely the most degenerate and unintelligent. There's obviously a lot of intelligence involved in investing in people who are actually making money, but there's so much like gambling and degenerate behavior involved in crypto. Just look at meme coins. Meme coins are such a big part of crypto. And just the fact that that's a big part just kind of shows what kind of character there is in crypto, because everyone's looking for it. None of these coins do anything or mean anything. It's just kind of the greater fool theory of price action going up based on some stupid meme coin. So it's a very interesting space to be involved in. That's for
100%,
sure.
100%.
So anyways, what were you doing before crypto, and how did you even get started? Like, what was kind of the motivating factor that kind of led to your interest, as well as then, okay, maybe I should start making a YouTube video about this and see where this goes?
Sure. Before that, I was an English teacher, actually, basically freelancing online. I've been doing that for a few years. It provided me a lot
Freelance
of
English teaching.
yeah, just teaching over Skype, right? So
Oh, okay.
finding
So, like-
finding clients all around the world, and most of my clients were Russian though, because I found they were some of the best paying clients that I could sort of connect with. So
Yeah.
I had a good foot in the door there. So lots of great clients there, and it provided me with a lot of freedom in terms of where I could go, what I could do. Digital nomad kind of stuff. You could go wherever and take your work with you. You got your laptop, you got an internet connection, boom, you can work, you can make money. So that was great. And I enjoyed
Were
that.
you actually doing that, like traveling and living abroad?
Yeah, well, we absolutely. My now wife and I, we were traveling quite a bit around Asia and stuff like that, and whatnot. Not like for years, but for a good amount of time, we were working on the road, and it was pretty cool to be able to have that kind of lifestyle where you can, go out to the jungle during the day or whatever, and then come back and all right, I'm going to sit down, make $100.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was pretty neat. And then we got back here to New Zealand. And I was still doing that. Now it's kind of becoming more of a, this is okay. I still enjoy it, but now the hours are a lot harder because the time zones aren't as synced up and stuff like that. So I started just looking around, doing more stuff. And my mom actually was getting pretty heavy into crypto, although she didn't end up buying crypto until 2018, but she was getting pretty excited about crypto, listening to like Jeff Berwick and some of the other sort of more libertarian minded people who were creating content back then. I'm not even sure if he's still creating content, but people were making content like that back then. And she started getting into that. She's like, you got to look at this Bitcoin thing again. I was like, yeah, okay. I've been kind of keeping an eye on Bitcoin and stuff for a while now, but haven't really pulled the trigger. So I thought, okay, let's go out. Let's figure out how to buy $500 worth of Bitcoin or whatever and see what happens. And then, of course, you got to buy small coins and all that stuff. And I said, okay, well, now what? Now what? I've bought some coins. Now what? So I thought, man, there must be some ways to like earn cryptocurrencies, right? So looking into mining. Okay, mining, it's pretty late. I don't have a warehouse full of machines, so I can't really do that. And well, what else could I? Staking. Okay, I can stake some coins. That's not super exciting. And so there was this platform called Steam. Not the gaming platform, but as a social media platform back in 2017. I don't even know if it's still around, but I started posting content there. Just, it was cool. It was fun. It was a way to express myself. And if you got upvotes, how it worked was the blockchain had a certain amount of emissions every day, and most of that went to whales. And so if a whale gave you an upvote for your content, you'd get like 20 or $30. And so I thought, it's great. I'd post, give me a chance to write and do stuff. And I would post over there, and then you get some money. And of course, because I was getting more and more into crypto, I started posting about crypto content. And that content obviously did super well on a crypto native platform. Surprise, surprise. So after a while, I thought, it's taking a lot of time to write these videos, write the scripts out. So why don't I just start recording some videos? So I started recording videos. I put them on YouTube to post over onto Steam. But then, of course, people started viewing them on YouTube, which none of this was ever really my intention going into this. I didn't start off with this, like, I'm going to create this big crypto media business, but that's kind of what it's become between the Twitter, the YouTube, the newsletter. We're putting a lot of resources into growing our Instagram finally after years, because I've had, until Instagram launched verified accounts, we couldn't get an account started over there because I have all these impersonators that kept reporting me as being an impersonator when I tried to start an account. It's crazy.
Instagram is, I hate Instagram. Right now, I haven't logged into my Instagram in 45 days. I have somebody posting everything for me from the US because I'm based in Bali, Indonesia. Now my account has been based in Bali, Indonesia. So my reach used to be 60% US. Now it's 7%, and it's 30% India, and then like 14% Iran. And now US is like not even part of my reach anymore, that's my entire audience base. And so, and then I created an alternative account just so I could DM friends, because I'm not logging into my real account anymore. And then that just got banned. So I'm like, all right, I give up. Like, I just deleting the app off my phone, letting people in the US try to get me relocated back to the US. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's miserable.
Yeah, definitely have been a lot of challenges with us social media platforms over time. And the crypto especially has been a tough area to work in, because there was a time back, and I think it was 2020 or 2019, where a lot of crypto YouTube channels were just getting banned left, right, and center, or our channels getting copyright striked. There you go. So that happened to a lot of us, and you had to go and appeal and usually get your everything back and be fine. But it was a scary time because it felt like, wow, the hammer's really coming down on these channels. But most of it was just the AI picking stuff up, whatever. But certainly there's been a lot of challenges trying to work in the crypto media space because it's hard to run ads. It's hard to do almost anything because all the companies are so crypto phobic or crypto hesitant.
All right, guys, brief interruption because I have an awesome opportunity for you that I want to show you here on my computer. Now, you've probably heard Gary Vee talk a lot about how he was an early investor in Facebook and Twitter and how he famously passed up on Uber multiple times. What he's talking about is private equity, and that's where you can get access to these companies to invest in their shares before they IPO and then trade on the US stock market and then blow up. The real money is made when you get early access. But beforehand, you didn't have access to this stuff unless you knew someone. But now with websites like Link2, you can actually get access to private equity just as an everyday Joe like you and me. Now, you can go to link2.com, and then once you sign up, you get access to a huge variety of private equity companies to invest in. For example, they have Ripple. Now, Ripple just won the SEC case, and now Brad Garlinghouse has been recently talking about doing an IPO for Ripple. You can also invest in Cerebras, which is an NVIDIA competitor. You can also invest in Elon Musk's XAI, also SpaceX, which actually just sold out, among various other things like Circle and Stripe. Now, me personally, I invested $162,000 into $50,000 in XAI, $50,000 in Cerebras, which is an NVIDIA competitor, $25,000 in Locus Robotics, which is actually the people who are doing AI robotics for sorting inside of warehouses. So a bunch of humans are going to lose their job to this company. Also Anthropic, which is an open AI competitor. Then Zipline, which is a drone delivery service AI company. So now, if AI does what I think it's going to do, I believe that portfolio right there is going to do very well over the next 5 to 10 years. And so Link2 is just a really cool platform that I personally was using, right? They didn't reach out to me and said, hey, I love your podcast, I want to sponsor it. I invested in and started using this company. Then I started talking with one of the investment managers and said, hey, I think you guys would be a great fit for the podcast as a sponsor, and they agreed. So I personally use this platform, and I think there's a lot of really cool AI investments that are involved. Also, if you're a big part of the XRP army, you can actually invest in the Ripple company prior to them IPOing. I believe Cerebras is actually going to IPO soon as well. So if you want to get started and get access to private equity, which in the past you never had access to, now you do with Link2. There's going to be a link below to get access. Join right now.
Yeah, it's becoming a little bit more normalized. I think like running ads can be a little bit easier now. Like I've been in the trading space for almost 20 years now, so I've never successfully ran any ads yet. I'm working with some people now who say they can, but everyone has said they can't. But I always get the accounts banned, and I actually got my YouTube channel banned for creating content about XRP versus SEC. So that was kind of the niche that I was like involved in, was XRP. When that thing was kind of going down, I had maybe like 12 or 13 videos with XRP or SEC in the title. Then one day I logged in my YouTube, and every video that had the word XRP or SEC in the title was removed by YouTube. And so I appealed it, and they're like, oh yeah, our bad. Then whatever algorithm, if it was this AI or however somebody reporting my account or something, because I also talk shit sometimes about XRP, so I probably rubbed
the XRP army came after you.
Yeah. So that could be another thing also. But I appealed it, got all those videos back, and then about 5 days later, my entire account got banned, just removed from YouTube. Said you violated our terms of service. You can no longer use this. So I filed for an appeal for that, and I eventually got my account back. But there's definitely been like a limitation on my reach ever since then. So it's been like a grind to try to kind of rebuild after that. So yeah, social media is just it's such a powerful tool, but it's very scary when your business relies on organic social media reach, because it's totally fucked over my business. For one, my Instagram is now based in Iran, in India, and now my YouTube I'm like fighting an uphill battle here a little bit, based on just the social media accounts. So it's definitely been interesting. And then crypto as well is just obviously can be frowned upon by a lot of this stuff. So how has your
have you had any experience with that on social media so far other than Instagram?
Yeah, there's been all kinds of trials and tribulations. Sometimes you feel like it's tough. It's really tough when you just have to have this realization that a lot of your business as a content creator relies on platforms that you have almost there's no control over it. Don't have any control over all kinds of things. And the crazy thing is if your account gets banned, for example, like my personal Facebook account got banned for, I have no idea what reason. I haven't even posted on there
I don't
in
know why
years.
either.
And I went to log in one day to do something, like one of my wife's posts or something. And it was just kind of like, oh, my account's been banned. Why? I have no idea. And so I appealed it. And the appeal was just like, upload a picture of your driver's license. Okay, fine, do that. And then it just sends back a message 24 hours later. We've decided that your appeal is invalid and you can never, ever again appeal this. And your account's permanently banned forever. I'm like, what? but that's always kind of the fear with accounts, at least to an extent. If you're spending money on these platforms, you will get some kind of account manager who you can at least raise things with. But it's tough, especially for a small creator. Like I think once you get over 500K or 400K or something on YouTube, they'll give you an account manager.
Yeah.
So at least you have somebody to reach out to if something goes wrong. But usually everybody's so siloed, they can't help anyway.
60,000 subs left to get there. So we'll see.
There you go. Keep grinding.
So what happened when you hit 500K? Because you're at 580 now. Was there someone you could actually speak to or?
Yeah, that's around the time that I got an account manager. Might have happened around 400K or something like that as well. I'm not exactly sure, but it hasn't been wildly useful having an account manager. We had a couple meetings and I said, it's not even worth my time having a meeting. Like, I know what I need to do. And that's fine. They had some useful insights, but overall, just kind of wasn't super worth it. But it is nice to have somebody you can email if something goes wrong, at least.
Yeah. So what do you think, like my kind of original question is, what are you saying that's grabbing so many people's attention? So for someone who's trying to start YouTube right now in the crypto space, what have you found, what kind of content is working and what's connecting with these people so much?
The content that probably works the best, which is content I kind of tend to avoid just because it's so easy to mess people up.
Bitcoin's going to 200K. Watch this. Here's why.
Well, that's not so unreasonable, but it's more of the buy this now. Here's the trade you got to take. Here's whatever you have to do right now, and like telling people what to do. Because the problem, of course, there's many, many problems with that. One of the biggest problems is people, they might be able to hear you say something for a minute on a video, but then they can't manage the risks. They they do all kinds of things that you don't talk about, right? Or they hear what they want to hear out of what you say. So for the most part, I cover the news, opinion on the news. We look at the charts and stuff, sort of commentary. Where are we at? What's going on? What do we need to see happen in order for X, Y, and Z to happen, so to speak? Those kind of things. But I think the content that can do well is like, calling the new meme coin that's at a $10,000 market cap or whatever, and it's going to go to the moon. And great if you get it right, but if you don't,
here comes the heat.
There comes the heat. That's right.
Yeah.
Brief interruption here, guys. Did you know that 75% of traders have accounts under $25,000? This creates a huge problem because even if you double that account in a year, which is almost impossible, you're still only making $25,000. Introducing Hydra Funding, where you can potentially get access up to $500,000 in capital. All you have to do, guys, is sign up for a challenge account, which is going to give you potentially access up to $500,000. And if you earn a 10% profit in this demo account without going into a 5% loss overall or a 4% loss in a day, you will then pass their evaluation phase and yes, get access to an account with the selected size account. And now, instead of trying to double a $10,000 account, you could potentially earn only 10% on a $100,000 account to earn the same level of profits. And the benefits of this are huge. Rather than risking your entire $10,000 on one account, you can use just $1,000 to potentially get access to $100,000 in capital. You can trade crypto, Forex, stocks, CFTs, gold, oil, everything under the sun, all on MT4 and MT5. If you're interested, if you have an account under $25,000, like 75% of traders out there, you're not going to make any money with that account because it's too small. Get access to pro level funding and pro level capital with Hydra Funding. Link's going to be below.
Yeah, it's an interesting space because you see what performs well. Like even on my channel, when I was doing a lot of crypto content, that was some of the best things that performed well. Is like top 10 altcoins to buy now, top 3 Metaverse coins to buy now, and that was performing. And then if you look at like Alex Becker, his is a very kind of dumbed down version of like there's no risk management involved here. Just this is the narrative. Here's the coins in that narrative. You buy it, you hold it, and you're going to get rich if you do. Which is kind of like what people want to hear, right? They want to hear that this is going to be easy. I'm just going to buy this. I'm going to get rich. When the reality is that's not necessarily, it's literally not how it happens for most people. Most people wait for everything to be in the news where we're on all-time highs and we're continuing to go up and they feel like everyone's getting rich but them. And so they finally decide, hey, okay, everybody's getting rich. They're at the dinner table with their family and everyone that has no idea what they're talking about is all talking about we should buy it because Becker and Lark and Cam said Bitcoin's going to 300K.
Yep.
And then they decide to buy and it's literally the top. And then they're like, okay, well, we'll just hodl. I said this the other day on a tweet. I said, the reality is most people don't want to hodl. They're forced to hodl because they buy at the top. And next thing you know, 6 months later, they're down 80%. They're like, well, shit, I can't sell it down here. So I'm just going to hodl like everybody else says to do. But most people, it's very difficult to time the market for one. And two, the majority of people out there aren't going to buy in fear because they're freaking out. It is scary. It's not easy to buy in fear also. And most people will buy eventually when it's finally in the news and it's on headlines and it's reaching to all-time highs and people are like, okay, maybe now is the time to buy. When the majority of time, that is the exact wrong time to be buying, or start thinking about selling if you have positions open. So from your perspective, do you have any ways that you kind of look at the market to gauge timing, getting in, getting out? When should I be locking in profits? Are you like a full long-term hodler, or are you more like, okay, we've seen exactly what happens every bull market. We drop 80, 90%. So are you locking in profits along the way in these cycles, or what is your kind of view on that?
So I can go back to our first cycle. Noob in the market. Watch everything go up from like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to, oh my gosh, I have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in crypto. This is amazing. And then 6 months later, I have nothing again. This is not amazing. Why didn't I sell everything? I'm an idiot. So last cycle was more of, okay, let's try and take a lot more money off the table, which I did. But the mistake was just literally should have sold everything. Right.
Yeah.
Nothing is except maybe Bitcoin. Look, I can make space for Bitcoin. Okay. Literally everything else, though. No way. There's not a point. There's not a point. There's just really not a point in doing it to yourself. You might as well just sell, take what money you can get out of it, and then reassess 6 months later. There's something really powerful about having strong cash positions. Now, this cycle has been very interesting because around the markets went up to 74K for Bitcoin and everything else did pretty well for about 2 months or something like that. And ever since then, it's basically been just grinding downwards. During that time of grinding downwards, I took on more risk. I thought, well, at some point, we're going to break out here for Bitcoin. The equity markets keep smashing new damn highs every single freaking day, man. Surely at some point, Bitcoin's going to go. No.
Nope.
No. So on this recent crash down, I didn't have any cash left. Where I had cash, right? But like I really silo my crypto investments, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's in crypto is what's in crypto. What's outside of crypto? No way, man. It's not coming back in. Like it's in the bank account. It's fine. Yeah. We got money in stocks. That we're not selling that stuff to buy more crypto. No way. So I had a very poor cash position when it came to that crash, and unfortunately, I had taken some of that cash, some of my Bitcoin and my Ethereum to use as collateral in loans, which I had to wind down those loans at the worst possible time. I was either sort of wind down some of those loans by taking some hard hits, or face an even worse situation by facing a hard liquidation call. Yeah. So that was not fun. But this market cycle has been a weird one in terms of we had this early high peak for Bitcoin. And then since then, we've basically been grinding sideways for Bitcoin. And I know as wild as it seems, we've basically just moving sideways at a giant range between approximately $50,000 and $70,000 for 6 months now. And during that time of Bitcoin indecision, the vast majority of altcoins have just bled out like insanely. As I look at one of my coins the other day, it's all the way back to the 2020 price of when I bought it. I was like, man,
Yeah,
What
if
is
you look
going
like
on
at
here?
like Matic, Sandbox, Mana,
Oh,
all
yeah.
those coins, they're
Oh, yeah.
smoked.
Yeah,
They're worthless now.
absolutely.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
it's
But
definitely been a this cycle is way different than the previous ones for sure. Like, because I was also quite long when we were NASDAQ was looking like it was getting ready to break out over ATH and go to run to 20. So my thesis was like, okay, if we get this breakout on NASDAQ, and I think it's going to just be a magnet to 20K, that's going to be the move where because Bitcoin was basically in this flat top triangle breakout, which was similar to the previous cycles. And if we broke out of that simultaneously with NASDAQ breaking out, that should be the move that pushes us to 80 to 100K. So that was my thesis. And that was obviously completely wrong. NASDAQ stocks absolutely shredded, pumped, while crypto just completely Bitcoin did get slapped, but not nearly as much as altcoins. And I don't trade Bitcoin usually that much. I trade altcoins, and altcoins just got absolutely smoked. And the other thing also about altcoins this year, which is way different than any other cycle as well, there is these massive 20 to 30% liquidation candles that happen within seconds to minutes, where everyone, if you have a stop loss in place, you're fucked. So you decide, maybe I won't use a stop loss because it drops 30% in 10 seconds, then instantly goes back up. And then, but if you don't, and it's the one where it actually does dump, it's so fucked. So
then you're down 50% without a stop loss. Like, hey, I didn't take a stop loss, but I just lost.
Yeah, so I got slapped a few times in this this last 6 month cycle just by having direct involvement in altcoins, while these Bitcoin and Ethereum were volatile. I mean, Bitcoin, if you look at the chart for like the last 6 months, is probably the most volatile period in a sideways motion that we've ever seen in its history, without actually any directional movement, while stocks were basically just fucking pumping the whole time. Well, at least like the Magnificent Seven and AI stocks. But Bitcoin really just was flat, just fucking with everybody's heads, roller coastering.
It's been a tough time to trade markets. It without a doubt has been. And if you look, I still think the best days of this market cycle are ahead of us. Right. We're going to see some pretty exciting stuff. I don't know when that's going to happen. As long as there's not some like new Great Depression globally, then we're probably going to be okay. We'll see. Caveat, right? But as long as we don't have something like that happen, then there will be a great market rally at some point. Whether that takes weeks or months to eventuate, I don't know. But at some point, a lot of this stuff will bounce back. Now, not everything's going to bounce back equally, right? Some of the coins from 2017, 2021, which are still hanging around in the market, they're not necessarily going to do that well. We've really seen the market consolidate around a small group of winners, and there'll be a time that everything pumps and you'll be able to exit most of your positions anyway at a decent profit. But it's definitely been hard. We're seeing so many narratives come and go, and narratives are hot for 6 weeks and then they dump for 6 months. It's a tough market to be in from that perspective. You really got to give it to people who have been just investing in the SP 500, man. Sleep well at night,
No, trading can be extremely stressful for sure. I've been doing this for 20 years. So my head hurts sometimes for sure.
Yep. There's no sugarcoating it, guys. It can be a rough ride sometimes. And that's for people who've been in the markets for years. You get more experienced, you get better at spotting the bullshit, you get better at making sure you pay yourself and all that kind of stuff. But still, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the markets, you can always make mistakes, and it doesn't necessarily get easier. It's still this constant sort of titanic battle with yourself all the time.
Yeah, that's what it is at the end of the day. It's a battle of managing your emotions when things are fucking going crazy.
Basically.
Yeah. So I was listening to a podcast that you were on. I have a few questions from that podcast. The first question is, at some point in the podcast, this was recorded in January, March, I believe. At least that's when it was posted. And you said, he kind of said, he asked you what was your kind of goals for this year or this cycle. I think Bitcoin was at mid 70Ks or something. And your goal was that you want to 10X your crypto portfolio. So are you still sharing that same enthusiasm right now than you were then for this cycle? Or
absolutely. Well, so I think two things have kind of happened since then. I'm still very much on the a lot of the portfolio can 10x, right? But the Bitcoin's not going to 10x, but that's more just like, I don't know, there. But I think there's a lot of great potential for that still to happen. And if if I can get a 10x for the overall portfolio by the end of the cycle, whenever that happens, could be longer than we think, right? Then great. But one thing that has crept up in the back of my mind is sort of paranoia around the broader macroeconomic conditions.
Yeah.
And
that have been looming for years.
Yeah, I know. And maybe it all just goes away. The Fed really pulls off the soft landing. The inverted yield curve is just bullshit, and everyone just moves on with their lives. But whenever we get the next significant market rally, and I don't know when that's going to be, looking like we could have that in Q4 of this year, but whenever we get the next significant market rally, I'm going to take off more money off the table than I was planning to initially. Initially, I was thinking, okay, we're probably, rocking along that standardish 4-year cycle for the cryptocurrency markets. And that's still, in a weird way, the base case, even though it almost feels contrarian sometimes you look at all the sort of fear and stuff around the markets. But yeah, I'll definitely take more money off the table short term while still maintaining significant exposure to the market, right? So the initial plan was we'll just let it ride. We'll just let it all ride. Yeah. See, put it all on black and keep spinning it, man. But
because in the past, you could have, because it was easier, right? Things were just going up. There was enthusiasm. People were buying. Now I just think there's a lot more fear across the board. People have been wrecked too many times. There's been all these liquidation events and altcoins. So there's just a lot of fear. People are going on tilt and over leveraging because they've sustained so many losses. So they're like, fuck, I got to get this back. And so they're betting bigger, which then puts them on even more leverage, which then creates all these stop hunts to stop everybody out. So it's been everyone's freaking out, I think.
It's absolutely been a rough ride from that kind of perspective. And from that, I'm still very optimistic on the cryptocurrency asset class. Don't get me wrong. Crypto is not going anywhere. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. Ethereum's not going anywhere. A lot of your altcoins are going to go to zero. Keep that in mind. But I think the next time we get a significant market rally, I'm going to take much more money off the table than I had initially planned, probably a third to half of my altcoin portfolio.
Yeah.
I'll sleep a lot better at night when that happens. As I've been balls to the wall with my family's net worth so deeply in crypto, I just started to think like, maybe I don't need to be that deep in crypto. I can still, I can take a half the altcoins off the table and still be significantly exposed, but be able to sleep better at night. So
yeah, I took a lot of my profits from the 2020 bull run and I invested outside of crypto. So I pretty much paid for a lot of this villa that I just built here in Bali. I bought a big piece of land. I built this villa and 2 next to me with the profits. I also invested in a restaurant, invested in a gym. And then when USD was actually collapsing, which brings me to my next question, I had a pretty bad experience with UST as well. And then later after that, USDC started to depeg, and I had a shitload of USDC. I was like, all right, fuck this. I sold a bunch of my USDC and bought more land instead.
Fair enough.
So, which brings me to my next question, because you talked about your Luna UST experience, and I have a pretty rough one story as well. So why don't you tell us your experience with the whole Luna crash in UST?
Oh, yeah, it was a good time. That was a good time. So Luna asset, I had, I don't know, 6 figures in Luna at the time. Not like wild amounts of money, but enough. And that just started crashing super quickly, obviously. And I was able to get out of that for almost break even because I'd bought it so early. So all the profits round tripped on that, but at least I didn't lose all my money on that. And then when it came to the UST, I had a pretty significant level of exposure to UST in a variety of places, not only on the, what was that app called? Anchorage, not only on the Anchorage app. Yeah, that's right. Anchor. That's right. Not only Anchor app, but also in Curve Finance and a liquidity pool there, which things just happen so fast. I woke up one day like, oh, the liquidity pool has been almost completely drained of everything but UST. Shit. So okay, take all the UST out of there, take all the UST out of Anchor, send it over to Binance. And then I watched that, gigantic amount of cash go from, we're talking, I don't know, it was 700-800K, something like that. And so it goes from, being pegged to $1 to down to, I don't know, 50 cents or something in a day. And it's like, oh man, That's problematic. And so I was like, you know what? There's gonna be some kind of relief bounce on this. There's gonna be some kind of relief rally. And there was, and it got it back up to 84, 85 cents, something like that. So I ended up selling it all there, thankfully, getting out of that.
At
so
about
only
80 cents.
Yeah, about 80 cents. So about a 20% loss. And
So you
when
did well. You did well.
Not too bad. Not too bad, right? When you account for the sort of the staking rewards that had come in over time, it helped blunt I mean, I lost a lot of money, right? But it could have been way worse.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it wasn't a fun time as well. Cause like, so I sell educational courses as well in trading. I've been selling courses since 2010, started trading in 2005, turned it into a business in I think 2008 or something. And so I trading wise that year, I made like just shy of 2 million. And with that, I made a shitload of content on crypto as well and crypto trading, which then led to me selling about $5 million that year in courses as well. So I had all this money. I had all this money in my bank account, my business bank account that I was just doing nothing with. And I saw an Instagram reel from Grant Cardone. He's like, never sit on cash. You always have to have your cash doing something, put it into work. So I was like, yeah, that's right. What am I doing with all this cash that's sitting in my bank account?
That's right, Grant. Let's go put in UST instead.
So then I'm like looking at different things I can do. So obviously I find them like most degenerate thing I could possibly find, which was Anchor Protocol, which seemed legit. There was billions of dollars being staked on here with a lot of people, which appear to be smart people as well, staking, earning I think a 20% APY on this. So I started with like 100 grand deposited. Then it was like 500K. And I was like seeing how the interest come in. Like, all right, $1 million. And then by the end, I had about 1.9 million staked on Anchor at this point. And I remember I was flying to LA from Bali to go be the best man at my buddy's wedding. And like, I had to fly from Bali to Jakarta. So that night at like midnight in Jakarta, before my flight is at like 6 a.m. the next morning, it starts depegging, and I'm like, "Fuck, what is going on here?"
Oh no!
And so I'm like, just getting ready to go to
flight.
Yeah,
oh, man.
I'm just getting ready to go to sleep, but I need to get at least some sleep because then my flight's at 6 a.m. So I'm like trying to I'm like, oh god, this is so bad. Like, do I dump it here? Like, this is the first time any stablecoin has ever depegged. So the thought and idea that it wouldn't depeg wasn't even necessarily a thing. I was like, it has to depeg or repeg, right? Because we've never seen a stablecoin depeg and then not repeg. So I'm like, okay, this has to repeg. So then I wake up, can't remember, it was probably like at 80 cents or something. And I'm like, I could have, but even at that point, that was like me down maybe 500K or something, or it was like 600K, whatever the price was. And I was like, okay, I can't take a 600K loss here. That's just absurd.
Yeah.
And so then I get on, I'll actually share my screen here because I have the tweets from when it was going down. Let's see here.
It was a crazy time in the markets, by the way. Just
yeah. So
amazing how fast it happened.
Can you see the screen here?
Yeah.
This is my connecting flight in Narita, Japan. I don't know if you can see here, but this is the Luna chart, but I think might not be able to see it. But UST at this time was 59 cents. And I'm in my connecting flight and I'm debating there, sitting like, should I just dump this at 59 cents? Like, I have like 15 minutes before I have to jump on my next flight. And I'm just like, fuck, 59 cents. What am I fucking doing? This is so shit. And then I didn't. I held on. And then by the time I landed, I have the other screenshot. It's my mom taking a photo of me walking out of the terminal. Having no idea how much money I just lost.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I said fake smile for mom before I told her I lost $2 million on the way home.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so that was a brutal experience. Which, it was I don't know. Was it a lesson necessary to be learned? I guess. Like, is this a fucking stupid decision? Also, crypto ran from Banter. He lost 100 million.
Oh
on
yeah, I
this.
talked to him about that. I
Yeah.
interviewed him, and it's wild, isn't it? You just most people would never see 100 million in their lifetimes, right? I mean,
Yeah. I didn't know he had that
0.0001%
much
of
money.
people.
Where did he get that much money? I had no idea he was that.
Just getting. I
that
mean,
wealthy.
if Luna went from 50 cents to $150, right?
Yeah.
So that's the
if
thing.
you're
If
in
he-
early on a bag,
if he had invested a few $100,000 or even $500,000 in Luna at 50 cents, I mean, my goodness gracious, it's pretty easy to
Yeah.
get the returns jacked up on that. But yeah, wild. The thing with crypto too, for everybody listening to keep in mind, is that so much of this space is just a fugazi,
yeah.
right? And you have to keep that in mind. Look, this is a fundamentally important technology, but it's also a casino. It's also full of all kinds of buggy crap that goes to zero all the time. The amount of hacks that happen are unbelievable. The amount of bullshit that happens is unbelievable. So when you have that life-changing money sitting on the table, change your lives, guys. Change your lives. It's holding these coins through the next bear market. You're not doing anybody any favors. Or you're going to be a community member now? Yeah, like you and the other 5 guys who didn't sell, you're going to sit around the Discord while the dude who did sell, he's in the Caribbean, he's on the yacht with the wife and the kids, loving his life, man.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do? It's these markets are player versus player, and at the end of the day, most of this stuff is not going to make it. And that's not because crypto's bad or crypto's a scam. But it's because of the speculative nature of this asset class. The barrier to launching a meme coin is basically zero. The barrier to launching a new protocol is very, very small. So you have basically companies that are startups coming in, competing in a wildly competitive space. 9 out of 10 fail. 9 out of the 10 ones that don't fail don't do very much. And so 1 out of 100 really break out and do something significant. Look at the top 200 coins. Look how quickly you go down the market caps. Where we go from, Bitcoin at $1 trillion to number 200 is probably just a few $100 million in market cap. This is a wild, wild marketplace when you consider that, right? $2 trillion market cap, all the coins combined. So we're early. We're early, but it's also in that earliness, you have a lot of risk and speculation and craziness.
Yeah, you said a few things there that I wanted to touch on. One is that this is a PvP game, and the reality is a lot of people think it's a community game where they're going to join this Discord to be part of this cult for this coin, and we're all going to hodl together and make money together, when that's not how this game works. You have to be a lone wolf if you want to make money. Yes, you can have like a small group if you're all being intelligent about your decisions and knowing that you're going to get in and get out and make money. And what are you trying to do here? You're trying to make money, and you can never make money unless you sell, right? I think that's something that most people don't understand, is they think that they're just going to hold on to it for how long? Is it like infinity till you die? Like, what's the purpose of holding it if you can never get the reward from it? And you can't get the reward from it unless you actually sell it. And a lot of people don't, or it's either that or they just get way too greedy. Once things get even to their target where they told themselves previously, okay, I'm going to sell here. If it gets there, they change their mindset. Well, now that it's here, it can
How
actually
much
go way
farther
higher.
can it go? Oh, yeah.
So it's like there's such a greedy aspect of it. And I've been part of that as well from my own personal experiences as well. And that's the biggest mistake most traders make, or investors, is not sticking to their plan and actually locking in gains when they happen. Because as soon as those gains come, you start thinking about the next level of where could this go. And so it's definitely a difficult thing to do. It's hard. That's why majority of people don't make money, because it's very, very hard and it's not an easy thing to do. Another thing you said there, what was I? I just had it.
You think about that for a second. I just want to follow up with the simple reality when it comes to crypto, is that this is not like your granddaddy's S&P 500 investing. This is not bond investing. There are maybe a couple of assets that you could be sort of a long-term passive investor in. That's probably Bitcoin, Ethereum. Maybe you can make the argument for Solana now. But those go over 5 or 10 years if you're willing to accept extreme volatility, which you don't even necessarily have to accept. There's going to be a time when massive euphoria and greed across the timeline. Maybe it's time to just sell those and you can buy them back later because you like them. You don't have to hold them down for those 60, 70, 80% downturns, because when a bear market comes, if you're holding a coin in a bear market like Bitcoin that only goes down by 70%, you've won the game of the bear market.
Yeah.
Really, it's insane. Whereas the vast majority of altcoins, certainly all the meme coins, but the vast majority of altcoins, they're going to go down 99%. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it's only down 99%. How much lower can it go? It can go down another 99% and then another 99%. It will reach new depths of lows that you thought were never possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a wildly speculative asset class. And that's why taking profits becomes so important in this game, because it's crazy, man. It moves in wildly volatile cycles where you can make truckloads of money. But that case for long-term investing in the vast majority of crypto assets, I don't think has really built itself up yet, to be honest. A few of them are long-term investable, but not many of them.
Yeah. And the reality of my point that I just remembered was, based on you saying it's all Fugazi, it's when you look at any of these crypto projects and the hype based around them, and it's the hype and narrative that drives price action up. And the reality is it's almost worse to deliver on any product, because then the hype and narrative is gone. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, we delivered. So now there's no more hype because we delivered the product. And if you look at any of these projects, none of them ever deliver anything. There's just the story of what it's going to be. And they're like, oh, we're still working on it. And here's the roadmap. And the roadmap's 3-4 years down. And we'll finally get to these steps that we never accomplished, because if we do accomplish them, then what do you base the hype on? Like revenues or what?
It's crazy. There's some good examples of that too, like MakerDAO or Aave. These are some of the biggest, most important, most cash-heavy generating behemoths in the entirety of the cryptocurrency industry. And the vast majority of people probably have no idea that they even exist. Certainly don't want to invest in them. The price charts have reflected that. But if you take a dog, you put a hat on the dog, boom, everybody wants to buy that thing because that's hot, baby. Oh, this company generating real cash yields and being a cornerstone of the entire cryptocurrency industry. Screw that, man. That sounds boring. People don't want it.
It's that's crypto. It's complete ludicrousy. I honestly hate it, actually. Sometimes I wonder why I'm part of this industry.
Been there, done that, man. I know how you feel. Sometimes I look here and just like, what am I doing here? People say, you're all crazy. What is this? Take the dog off the hat off the dog, man. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about what your thoughts on NFTs are. It seems like they kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth, where they're kind of like this hyped up thing. I never really got super involved in it. I never really bought in. I kind of thought it was a joke. Just like, okay, this seems just so crazy, like the prices of these things. And then obviously everything crashed. The only NFT that I bought one of Alex Becker's Neo Tokyo NFTs, because I was also starting a crypto project that had to do with trading and gaming. And so I wanted to be part of that network of developers to be part of that. So it was the only reason why I bought. I think I paid like $35,000 for this NFT. And now it's probably worth like $500 or some shit.
Classic.
So it's like classic. Were you ever involved in NFTs or what are your thoughts on that?
As somebody who covers the crypto space, 24/7, we definitely talked a lot about NFTs, and I bought some NFTs, but I never got as involved in NFTs. There's a few that I, bought for fun. There was one artist lady who I quite like her stuff, and I bought a few of her NFTs. They're all, I bought them for $15,000 a piece or something. They're probably worth, $500 now, whatever. But that's fine. I don't really care. It's all good. There are a few others. There were very little speculation NFTs that I bought, though. For the most part, I just could not be bothered trying to get into the Discords and grind for a whitelist position. I just didn't care. And I always thought that, I don't know, one day maybe I'll buy a CryptoPunk still. Just maybe. I don't know. Just to have it.
It's kind of like the OG. Like, I haven't even looked at what the price is of a CryptoPunk. But yeah, I like the CryptoPunks just because they're like this OG pixelated, such a simple piece of art. But just
it's like buying a Rolex or something. Maybe just buy it because it's, it's kind of like whatever. But it's for the vast majority of it, look, the the NFT thing is largely reminiscent of the meme coin thing right now, just different, right? Different liquidity and different parameters. And if anything, meme coins are more of a slaughterhouse than NFTs were. I mean, I looked at some pump.fun. Have you heard about this app? It's like anybody launch a meme coin in like 5 seconds. And
No.
so the statistics from like 2 days ago were basically that 99.99% of the meme coins that have been launched that day, and we're talking like tens of thousands, went to zero within like 5 minutes. Only 150 even made it onto a decentralized exchange, and they went to zero. And of the day, only like 5 or 6 of them ended up with a market cap over like $60,000 or something like this. Like just a slaughterhouse, absolute
Yeah.
slaughterhouse. Everybody just getting wrecked instantaneously. And there's like, man, go to Vegas, put your money on black. Like you have much better chances of at least getting something back. Like it's not even gambling. It's just getting slaughtered. NFTs got very diluted very quickly, but again, we talk about technology versus speculation because the NFT technology is awesome. I love
It's
NFTs.
brilliant. I think it's going to be a
brilliant.
big part of the future. So do you think NFTs in the sense of these artwork cults will ever make a comeback, or you think that kind of era is done? It's not going to come back. Like, I mean, how do you even revamp it? I guess someone big would have to come in and be like, it's back. I'm buying this. And then all of a sudden it would have to be some sort of like snowball effect of like one project blowing up again, and then that kind of snowballing on to just the trend coming back. But as of right now, I don't see it happening. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a real tough slog for getting that kind of enthusiasm back into the NFT market. Look, when wild speculation comes into the market, anything's possible. But in terms of that, like 100 different collections of 10,000 PFPs launch in a day, like, man, I don't know. I don't think we go back to that. But I think there's definitely niche art communities that haven't gone away. You know, the market price of Fidenza art, for example, has remained relatively high. I haven't checked the prices recently, but I know they're still worth probably at least tens of thousands of dollars. So there's going to be always that niche for crypto collectors to pick up some of these art pieces, to pick up stuff like CryptoPunks. But the real takeoff for NFTs is not going to be this wild speculation that was. And I'm not even sure we need to go back to that. I mean, we will when utility catches up, people will bring speculation back into the game. But I think utility is really where it's at. And that's going to be something that's harder for the average person to invest in, because what are you going to go and invest in the NFT marketplaces? Okay, I got a governance token. Yay. That's not going to be worth anything, right? But the NFT technology for ticketing, for in-game items, all this kind of stuff, awesome, super awesome, right? So if you can find a pick and shovel way of picking up on that, great. But the speculation of individual NFTs to go to the moon, that's a tough game.
Yeah. No, I think it's I think that fad has came and gone. I don't think it might make a comeback, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the kind of returns that people saw in the past.
No.
What about the Metaverse? Do you think that's ever going to be a real thing? Because that was super. I made a shitload of money off of Metaverse coins in the past, and I'm actually going to be interviewing the CEO of Animoca Brands next week, who is part of Sandbox. So, and I definitely want to ask him about the Metaverse and kind of where they stand. Of like, are they still putting a lot of time and work into this? Like, because obviously seemed like a thing. It was obviously just kind of a trend, kind of like NFTs were, kind of like meme coins were, that kind of comes and goes. But I don't see any product in the metaverse space actually kind of like making any headway or hype or any sort of great innovation in that. So what are your thoughts?
The metaverse at this stage kind of just ends up being cool games, right?
It's just video
Sandbox,
games.
yeah, Sandbox, the cool video game, all that kind of stuff. The metaverse as envisioned by, I don't know, your sci-fi fantasy, that's still years off. Now that's coming. It's coming. But one of the things I was saying, and I was very hyped, I was very excited about metaverse coins back when they were going crazy, right? But one of the things I was even saying back then is like, a lot of the stuff's going to take time. You know, we're talking years. Imagine are being proposed to be built here, but you need a lot of technological things to catch up to that. You need the Apple headsets and stuff like that. You need the ability to interact and walk within these worlds and all these crazy things that we're just not there yet technologically from that perspective, but we will be. The way AI is going, the way that massive chip manufacturing is going, and the power increases that are going to be required for that over the next 10 to 20 years, we'll definitely get to some kind of massive metaverse situation. But it's probably going to be some years still.
Yeah, and I probably have trouble believing it's going to be some like crypto project game that really makes it work.
It'll be
I mean,
Facebook,
obviously,
it'll be Google, it'll be Apple, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when they do that, there'll probably be another
Oh yeah.
run on
Buy the
Metaverse
Metaverse coins,
like,
man, and then sell them.
That'll be some sort of thing like that. But anyways, I guess we can kind of wrap this up here. I got two more questions for you. First question being, for someone getting into crypto now or even involved in crypto now, what are your kind of core principles for one, picking the assets you're going to trade or invest in, and then also two, once you have that set of assets, how do you diversify?
Sure. In terms of picking the assets and getting involved in crypto at all, go slow. Go slow. There's no rush. I know you might think there's a rush. There's no rush. There's almost never a rush in this market. So take your time, figure out what's actually going on, right? Don't just rush in and start buying a bunch of dog coins and stuff like that. Actually try to assess your risk levels, right? If you're a dude who's 20 and you have $10,000, your risk levels are going to be way different than a guy who's 60 and has a few $100,000 might want to invest in this market, right? That guy's probably just going to stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum and dollar cost average in over a 5-year time period versus a 20-year-old guy like, yeah, go buy 10 meme coins and good luck. Right. So very different depending on where you are in your life stage and your investing cycle and all this sort of stuff. So look, if you're just trading the markets, there's a lot of high market cap assets that have great liquidity and you can have a lot of great opportunities on, right? Nice clean charts, all that kind of stuff, whether it be Solana or Avalanche or whatever else, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? If you're looking for making high risk, high reward asymmetric bets on buying cheap altcoins, there's a lot of opportunity there too, but also a lot of opportunity for massive loss, right? So you don't need probably more than 10 coins to do well in this market if you're building a portfolio, but you have to understand when building that portfolio, you need to be flexible. You need to be willing to take profits when the time comes. If you're going to be chasing narratives, you need to actually get out before the narrative finishes, stuff like that.
Are there any particular narratives that you're looking at right now?
I think right now, no, not particularly. I mean, look, whatever's happening on Solana is big. Whatever's happening on Base is big. Those are two sort of meta narratives for this cycle that are worth paying attention to continually. Coins on Base like Aerodrome or Brett are very interesting. I own both those, by the way. Coins on Solana, whether you're buying Solana asset itself or whether you're buying something like Jupiter, which I own, which is the biggest decentralized exchange over there, decentralized exchange aggregator technically. But anyway, those are, looking at that big ecosystem in terms of sort of like an AI narrative or a gaming narrative. I think in the current market conditions, we don't really have anything that's really standing out currently besides meme coins, I guess, continually finding new pumps and then going to zero, right? But in terms of an overarching narrative right now in the market, I don't see very much. Earlier this year, we had some AI coins doing really well. We had some gaming coins doing well briefly. I think that gaming is going to make a massive comeback at some point in this market cycle. I don't know when that's going to be. We do have some really beautiful games that are coming up, which could make the difference in terms of launching some kind of gaming hype. Off the Grid is one I'm an investor in, and they've got, they haven't launched yet, but they've got a beautiful looking game. It's got really good reviews from big gaming streamers and stuff like that. They got Neil Blomkamp, the guy who made District 9.
Okay, yeah, I just saw that. I think another person I follow on Twitter was talking about, and that's going to be a crypto game because I saw it was also coming out for Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, it's coming out on major consoles and it's built on Avalanche. It's built on the Avalanche blockchain, and so there's going to be an in-game token and in-game NFTs and stuff like that. So this is probably one of the biggest launches ever for a crypto native game going mainstream. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If it takes off, then that has potential to spark a gaming run. But we're not there yet. It hasn't launched yet, and market sentiment more broadly, especially for altcoins, is very much down right now. So there's no definitive narrative that's building up at this time, but that can change real fast.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to look into that Off the Grid because I saw it and I was like, when I went and looked at the website, I was like, oh, this isn't a crypto project. This is for PlayStation and Xbox. So I didn't dig too deep into it, but I didn't realize that it was also going to be built on Avalanche with in-game tokens and NFTs. That's pretty cool. And then last but not least, the question that everybody wants to know, where is Bitcoin going on the end of this cycle?
The classic. Look, I have maintained that we have the potential to run up to as high as $215,000. That's the 3.618 Fibonacci extension.
Yeah.
doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, but that's sort of, in my mind, the highest price point. But maybe if all the market conditions align, there's no U.S. recession, there's massive liquidity from the central banks and all kind of stuff, we get up to like 250,000 for like 5 minutes, right? And then we go down. But I would say if you are sort of somebody who's looking to start dollar cost averaging out of your Bitcoin positions or your altcoin positions, I think we will definitely get up to 100K this cycle. We knock on some wood here, okay? Famous last words, right? But I have pretty high conviction we're going to 100K this cycle.
Yeah.
It's not that far away. Think about it. We've come all this way, and you're going to tell me the best we could do this cycle was 74K, $5,000 over the previous all-time high. So I know the charts are not looking great right now. There's been a lot of pain in the markets, a lot of sideways action, all that kind of stuff. But if anything has been proven to me in crypto over the years, that things can change real fast around here, and they often do.
I mean, it's crazy how fast things can change. The charts on a crypto. Bitcoin's been up and down, like looking like the end of it, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it's back to where it started, and it's like, okay, this is fucking.
Everyone's back on the new paradigm. Money vibe. Let's go. We're all geniuses.
But anyways, man, pleasure to have you on. It was nice meeting you. Great conversation. Good to hear more about your story and your involvement in crypto. So where can people find you?
Come find me on X, Lark Davis, or on YouTube, Lark Davis.
Perfect. Awesome, man. Appreciate your time and pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you guys.